Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to draw another sketch in my sketchbook. In the previous video I drew an eye from front view and an eye 3/4 view. These are both step-by-step videos, so if you like you can follow along. And whenever I draw one eye, like a single eye, I always receive a comment somewhere like, okay, I can draw one eye, but I struggle drawing the other eye. So how can you draw two eyes? So I decided to draw two eyes so that you can practice drawing both eyes, because whenever you're going to draw a portrait, unless it's a side view portrait, you always need to draw two eyes, and some beginner artists struggle a bit with that. So I'm going to show you how you can use guidelines to draw both eyes the same. I'm going to start with a horizontal middle line, and below these eyes, so I want to sketch some more, so I'm going to draw the first one up here. So think about where you're going to draw the eyes, how big, and if you're going to draw two eyes from a front view, then you want to draw them both on the same line. You don't want to draw one higher than the other. So if you just draw a guideline, that can be helpful. And at first I draw the line with a bit more searching line. So draw the line loose, and whenever you're satisfied with your straight line, you can erase any extra lines. Okay, so here's the guideline. Now I'm going to separate this into 3 equal spaces. So there's one space in the middle, that's the space in between the eye, and the space in between the eye is usually the same width as a single eye. So you can draw like 3 equal spaces, and you can check like this. So you don't have to use any rulers when you're sketching. You can just easily use your pencil to measure. So you use your thumb and then the tip of the pencil, measure the width in between the eye a bit wider like this, and then you can also measure, so then you know you have 3 equal spaces. And now you know that you're going to draw one eye here, and then on this guideline that can already help you to draw two eyes on the same line and the same size. So now the top eyelid would be around here, and then you can like imagine a line. You can also check, so again you don't have to use a ruler, just check with your pencil if it's around the same height, maybe a bit lower here. That's how you can compare, so then you know you have the upper eyelid on the same line. Now for the lower eyelid, this guideline isn't exactly in the middle, so the lower eyelid is a bit closer. And again, you can also draw a line, and there's nothing wrong with using rulers. You can use a ruler if you like, so you can draw a line here, and then you have a rectangle guideline around your eye. That can also help you. You don't have to, you can just use your pencil, check if you have it around on the same line. And whenever you're sketching, you don't have to get every millimeter right. So that's why I say you don't really have to use a ruler, but when I'm drawing something realistic like a portrait, I sometimes do use a ruler, because if you want to achieve the same likeness, you want to be sure that your sketch is as accurate as possible. But again, this is just a sketchbook. We're drawing the basic proportions and learning how to draw two eyes the same size. So try to sketch loosely. I'm going to draw the first, the upper eyelid. So it curves up and then down. And here you have the corner. And here it curves. And if you have drawn eyes before, you will need to know that everyone has their own unique shape of eyes. So depending on which type of eye you're going to draw, look at the shape and look at how the eyelid curves and so on. So now I'm drawing both, like the outer shape of the eye. And again, just draw something. Maybe later if I notice this is too wide, that I want to draw the lower eyelid, maybe that I want to erase that. And it looks like this is a bit higher. So then you can just take your eraser and correct yourself. Remember that no artist gets it all right at once. Well, you can be really practiced, that you don't really have to use an eraser, then you just draw with all of these searching lines and you get one of them right, but it's okay to use an eraser. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to tell yourself that you need to get it right at once every time. So when I'm drawing the shape, I look at the shape and now I see that this shape curves more, so I notice that this is higher. So you can also check like that. Look at how it curves. Does this eyelid curve more? Then you know, okay, it should be a bit lower. That's how you can check in your drawing. So if you're going from this eye corner to that eye corner, how curved is the eyelid? Try to draw it the same and around the same. Okay, so now the crease line is a bit above, maybe even closer. I'm going to draw a men's eye, male. And then I want to draw, I think, female eyes below, and then eyes of a child. And you will notice that they all have their different shapes. But again, every single person has their own unique type of eyes. This is just like a basic shape of eyes. And how you can practice with proportion. So first you want to make sure that you have the size of the eyes correct and that you draw them on the same line. But then if you're going to draw from a reference photo, check like maybe the eyelashes or the eyelids are like closer together, or maybe the eye is wider open. That will determine, so the shape of the eye you draw, that will determine, or that will create the same likeness of that person that you're going to draw. Just by looking at the shape and how close is the crease line. Or maybe some eyes you don't see an obvious crease line. Some eyes you see like a deeper, more obvious crease line than others. Check the shape of the eyebrows, how close to the eye are the eyebrows, and so on. So it really helps if you just practice drawing all types, sizes, different kinds of eyes as much as you can. So I'm showing you how you can use guidelines to draw two eyes the same. You see that I'm also drawing both of the crease lines a bit, like I'm going here to the left and to the right. This one goes a bit further. So that's how I work on both eyes a bit the same time. You can also complete one eye at once and then move on to the next. I usually do that with the shading. So first the sketch, and then I work on both eyes at the same time, because that can help me. With the placement of the eyes. If you look at the guideline to the upper eyelid and then around that area, that's where you see that's where I'm going to draw the eyebrow. And then the crease line is around in the middle of that. So because these are male eyes, the eyebrows are really close to the eyes. This is the line of the shadow, because here will be the nose. So then the shadow of the nose bridge on both sides. I'm going to draw the waterline now, and then we're going to draw the iris. The eye corner. So now we can draw the iris. And the iris usually touches the lower eyelid, but then the upper eyelid covers the iris a bit. Depending on the shape of the eye, it covers the iris more or less. And then to draw a full, so imagine the iris to be a circle. And you can look at the white space around it to help you draw the circle in the middle of the eye, the iris. And that's only if the person is looking straight forward, of course. If the person is looking to the left, for example, you will draw the iris here to the left, and then here you will also need to draw it to the left. So both irises are connected. If this one is in the middle, this one also has to be exactly in the middle. So then check the white space and then try to draw that the same here. And the same size. And you can also use your pencil if you're not sure if it's the same size, just to check. Just use your pencil if you need to. Now this one, the eyelid is a bit lower. I'm drawing it a bit lower. So here's also when you can look at the shape. Here I see that I have more space than here. So I'm also going to use the smaller eraser. Don't want to erase too much. So that's where, so now you can try to correct if you need to. And then the waterline. So the waterline, this is actually the lower eyelid. This is the eyelash, the lash line. So here will be the lashes. So this isn't really just an outline like I have in my sketch here. So make sure you have light sketch lines. You want to lighten that later. Okay, so now the pupil. And the pupil is in the middle of the iris. And imagine that here is still a part of the circle. So keep that in mind. So I'm drawing the pupil around like on the guideline. And sometimes I see beginner artists, they don't draw the pupil exactly in the middle of the iris. They draw the pupils more like here, and then this one here, and that will make the person look cross-eyed. That's not what you want. So try to draw a circle in the middle. And then a highlight. And remember, you don't, with eyebrows, there's a saying that brows are not twins, but they're sisters. So that means they're not completely identical. And with eyes, it's the same. Usually, or sometimes someone's eyelid is a bit lower than the other. So someone can be like squinting the eyes a bit, or just one eye is a bit more open than the other. So try to keep in mind when you're drawing two eyes, they don't have to be exactly identical. So maybe that can help you. when you're drawing an eye, you do want to make sure that you're drawing it the same size and that the iris and the pupil, that they're facing the same direction. So in this case, straight forward. Then you want to make sure that both of the pupils are straight. Eyes can really make a difference if the eyes aren't right in your portrait drawing. So I think the eyes are the most important, especially the iris and pupil that will make the person looking straight at you if you're drawing the eyes from a front view. So try to keep that in mind whenever you're drawing eyes. And again, you will only get better at drawing if you practice this for yourself. Draw as much as you can. Draw whenever you can. You don't have to draw every day. But it's better to draw like just for 10 minutes a day than like 1 hour per month. So sit down, just draw something, 10 minutes, just practice your hand movement, or just draw lines, whatever. Keep your hand, train your hand. Whenever you learn something, you need to be consistent with it, with learning, practicing. I'm going to draw the eyebrow now. And because this is a man, the eyebrows are a bit thick. Okay, so once you have the shape, remember to step away for a while. And then you can start defining the sketch a bit more. So the first sketch is the most important. Just draw something and then check, correct if you need to, use the eraser. There's usually a crease line below the eye. So that's what you can add with a bit of the shading. Okay, so now if you're satisfied with your sketch, you can remove any guidelines you drew or any sketch lines you don't want. And I feel like this crease line is a bit lower, but I can correct that a bit with shading. So I'm going to use the 2B and start going over the areas where it needs to be darker. So the pupil. And when I fill in the iris, usually the lines go like they follow the pupil. You follow the circle, draw the lines all like this. Don't have to draw all details with sketches. And then usually here's a shadow coming from the upper eyelid, also going over the eyeball whites. I didn't erase those lines here. And then this line should be light, because that's where the lashes are going to be. Back to the HB, I'm going to add a bit of shading. Now remember, when you're going to add shading, wherever you're going to add darks like shadow, you're going to bring that area to the back, and wherever you're going to add highlights, the lights will come forward. That's how you will make your drawing look a bit more 3D. Shade the waterline a bit, shade the corner here. And whenever you're drawing an eye, it can look funny because you don't have the lashes yet, but try to look through the lashes and add the shading first. And I actually want to keep these sketches sketched. Yeah, it's about the sketch and about the proportions. So I don't want to shade them completely and make it look realistic too much. That's not my goal with these drawings in my sketchbook. I want to focus on the sketch and show you how to look at proportion. Actually add some shadow here to the eyeball white. So now blend this a bit and also use the extra graphite that's on the stump to blend some areas. Make it all look softer. Okay, now you see that everything looks one value now. I want to use the mechanical pencil. This, the lead that's inside is the 2B. But if I swatch this this graphite, and if I compare it to the graphite pencils that I just used, I would say it's more like in between the 2B and the 4B graphite pencil. So if you don't have a mechanical pencil, you can switch to the 4B and use that. So I'm going to darken. And what I like of the mechanical pencils, the thing I like is that you don't have to sharpen them. And if you're going to draw on your sketchbook, the only thing you have to take with you is your sketchbook and a mechanical pencil. You even have an eraser here on the back. So you don't have to sharpen, you don't have to take any extra material, so just one pencil. You can also sketch with this pencil, erase. So that's one thing I like about the mechanical pencil. You can draw small details with the sharp tip, and you don't have to sharpen every time. So you can just use the graphite pencils you have. Of course, you don't have to have a mechanical pencil, just something nice to use. If you're going to sketch often in your sketchbook. I didn't have one before. When I started drawing, I started with a drawing pad and the Faber-Castell graphite pencils. Those were my first pencils and I liked them right away. I've tried different brands in all of these years, but I still prefer the Faber-Castell. They are by far my favorite. I don't know why, just because they are soft and they blend so smoothly. And I've noticed that other graphite pencils can be a bit darker, but I just use a black colored pencil to add the darkest value, so I don't really mind that they're a bit lighter, but that is one thing I noticed. So if you prefer darker pencils than the Faber-Castell pencils, you might notice that they are a bit lighter when you swatch down the graphite and compare it to other brands. So the crease line is dark and I'm drawing it a bit thicker. You noticed it here, maybe here as well. Let's see the distance here. And remember, both of the eyes don't have to be exactly identical. They're not twins, just like the brows. So keep that in mind if you're not satisfied, like maybe one shape of the eye is just a bit different. As long as if you look at your drawing from a distance and you're satisfied with the overall, how they both look together. Do they look like two eyes that can be from one person? And the most important, that the person doesn't look cross-eyed. And it looks like this. Iris, just a bit wider. I'm going to widen this iris also just a bit. Usually the edges of the iris are darker. Adding darker shadow here. Okay, now darken the eyebrow. Remember to draw longer pencil strokes when you're drawing eyebrows, not all of these short strokes together. Some loose individual hair strokes. So if you're drawing eyebrow from a male, I'm not sure if you say a man or a male's eye, a man's eye from a man. It's usually a bit more like messy and some more individual hairs around the eye. And try not to draw the eyebrow too neat. I'm looking at the shadow, so then this one can be also a bit more here. So it starts with these individual hair strokes, group some together, and then let's see how low, yeah, like this. So here it goes to the right with a bit more longer hair strokes, and then here it starts to curve down. And we still need to draw the eyelashes. That will also make the eye look much better. Darken the shadow a bit. So there's usually a shadow around the crease line, so don't try to draw just a line. Also add shadow around it. And I'm using really light pressure because this is the 2B and this one is a bit darker. If you don't want too dark shading, you can, or you can move on back to one of the lighter pencil grades. Darken, add shadow to the eyeball white. That really makes a difference. It puts, like the eyelids are covering the eyeball, so the eyeball always needs shadow because it's inside, or it's yeah, under the eyelids. Blend just a bit, soften. Again, you don't need to blend, I just like that look, that it's a bit more blended. And I know I want to have my drawings look a bit more sketched. Still practicing with that. Maybe I shouldn't blend. Will make it look more sketchier, but yeah, I like this now, and you're the artist, so you can choose what you like to add to your drawings, what to do. So okay, now I think it's time to add the lashes. And then I can always darken the crease line. Yeah, I'm going to draw the lashes just with the mechanical pencil. Going to start with this one, and actually I'm going to lighten this line a bit because it isn't that dark. The person isn't wearing like eyeliner or mascara, so the eyelid is like the same color as the skin tone, and then the lashes will be covering it. So here the lashes are quite long, they go up. And then here they start to curve more a bit down. So whenever you're drawing eyelashes, again, make sure that you're drawing the tips a bit thinner and group some together. Skip like a section or an area here. Don't draw them all completely the same. The lower lashes, and then keep in mind that it's not connected to the eyeball, so here you have the waterline. I see that adding eyelashes really, these are really the final details of the eye. Shading. And the lashes are really light here. So here as well, group some together, skip an area. Sometimes because of a highlight you don't see a lash, or some can be darker here, they're in shadow. Again, some are more grouped together, so then you won't see an eyelash in one area because it sticks to the next one, if I can explain it that way. You can also study your own eyelashes. Look in the mirror, see how they curve, how maybe some will group together, how some maybe will overlap, at least if you're not wearing mascara. So these are more natural lashes. So depending on which person you're going to draw, of course. And sometimes someone is wearing like fake lashes. Those will be more perfect, neat and perfect next to each other. But if you're going to draw natural eyelashes, then you'll need to keep in mind to draw them more natural looking. And this can also be challenging, especially if you're a beginner artist and you're drawing lashes for the first time. What you can do is, if you don't want to keep on drawing eyes and you're not satisfied with the lashes, just practice drawing single lashes on an extra piece of paper, or even in your sketchbook somewhere. Practice the strokes, like the tapered strokes of each individual lash. Practice with that. And then with each eye you draw, of course, you will practice drawing lashes even more. So if you're not good enough at it yet, or if you're not satisfied with how you draw lashes, then you know you just need to keep on drawing them, keep on practicing, keep on drawing them more often. That's the only thing I can give as advice to anyone who wants to become better. Draw more. What do you want to get better at? Do you want to get better at drawing portraits? Then start with drawing eyes until you're satisfied with what you draw. If you're not satisfied with how you draw eyes, I wouldn't start drawing portraits, because you wouldn't be satisfied with how your portrait's going to look. The eyes are the most important. So get better at drawing single eyes. First one eye, then practice drawing both eyes. It can be challenging, of course. I'm not saying it's easy. Sometimes I find it challenging as well, but don't let that stop you from trying, and keep on going. Because the only way to improve is by doing it more. And I decided, so I wanted, when I was a beginner artist, I decided, okay, I want to get better at drawing portraits. So what did I do? Draw portraits, draw eyes, draw a lot of eyes. Darken the shadow a bit here. And when I started drawing eyes, I wasn't good at drawing eyelashes at all. I got better the more often I drew them and that I practiced with it. So I hope I'm not repeating myself and saying the same thing the whole time, but it's really true. And whenever I get a comment like, oh, how did you learn that? How did you get better? Yeah, well, that's the only thing I can say about it. And I think any artist will tell you the same. Practice it for yourself. You can watch others draw and keep on dreaming and hoping that you will be able to do that as well, but you won't if you just keep on watching videos and keep on hoping instead of practicing. And as long as you're dedicated, so motivate yourself to keep on trying. Motivate yourself to keep on going. And we all have good and bad days. Don't let that discourage you. And even if you take a break for a while, no problem. Sometimes I don't feel like drawing at all, or I just don't know what to draw. Like if you're drawing portraits a lot, okay, what do I feel like drawing? I don't know. Just draw a single eye. You can also just draw a really small eye. Practice drawing the shape. Practice drawing lashes. Practice drawing an eyebrow with the hair strokes. Practice with that. Yeah, sometimes I don't know what to draw myself, or just open Pinterest. That's a really great app to get inspired by all kinds of things. Just pick one reference photo and start to draw it. Not satisfied? Try again. So what I like to do is blend the lashes a bit, because they're natural. I like to blend them a bit and make some look softer, and then I go over some of them. Because also some lashes are a bit more to the front, more sharper, some are a bit more to the back, more blurred, more out of focus. So that's why I like to use that's when I like to use the blending stump to blend it a bit. Also adding a bit of shadow here in between the eyes. Not too much. If you add graphite somewhere and you're not satisfied, that's when I use the kneaded eraser, lighten a bit, because this is the eraser. So I gently, you can also erase fully with the kneaded eraser, but you can also use it to lighten an area. That's what I do. Blend this a bit again. Okay, so yeah, what you can do now is take a break, check, yeah, come back with fresh eyes, and then check to see if you're satisfied or not. And what you can also do, what helps for me, is look at your drawing a bit from a further distance, maybe stand up, squint your eyes, so that way, by squinting your eyes, you remove all detail, and then just focus on the overall shape. Are you satisfied with the shape of both eyes? Are you satisfied with the value? And this is just, I'm not going really dark, so you can keep on adding darker values. but you can check, like, is this eye as dark as that eye? So after blending the lashes, I like to go over some of them, darken. And some you can just leave them as is. They don't have to be darker, they can be lighter. And I lost the highlight there, so I'm adding it back. I can just use the small eraser for that. Adding the highlight can really make a difference. So at this stage, I just correct if I need to go over some areas. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to go darker. Mechanical pencil 2B, the graphite regular pencil 2B, and the HB. Maybe add some individual. Make it look a bit more like messy. Okay, I think I'm going to call this one finished. And in the next video, I want to draw female eyes. And then we're going to do the same step by step, starting with guidelines, so that you can draw both eyes on the same line, measure like the distance between the eyes, measure both eyes, so that you can draw them the same size. And I hope that will help you to draw two eyes as well. I hope you learned something from this video, and remember that if you would like personal feedback or help, then you can join us in the membership. There's an art community, or you can contact me directly. I can help you on your journey, or you can just learn from the step-by-step video lessons in the membership, all learning how to draw realistic portraits. So I hope you were able to draw along with this sketch, and I'll see you in one of the next videos.